Afternoon.
Coach, I mean, last week's game, there was a lot of resiliency involved through the first three quarters, but in the fourth quarter, guys buckled down. They're able to move the ball down there. What can you guys build off of as a staff and as a unit to help the offense get going even quicker?
Yeah, you can't simulate adversity at practice. So anytime you get it in a game, you just want to see how those guys respond. And the sideline with the coaches and the players talking and keeping each other under wraps and keeping everything calm and sticking together. And it was really cool to see that come to life. And it's going to happen more often than not with this league. Comes down to the last 2 minutes of the first half and the second half. So it's, you got to stick together. And I was proud of those guys.
In those final 2 minutes of the first half, but specifically the second half, how settling and calming is it to know that you have Russ there and he does really well in those moments?
Yeah, he's been through a lot as far as those situations. So you have a lot of trust in him and just leaning on him and knowing that he's going to communicate with those guys out there that he's not used to playing with and just getting on the same page with them. So it's a nice safety blanket to have.
Do you have to encourage Russ to run maybe a little more, or is it just, hey, take what's out there?
Yeah, it's you don't want to overcoach anything. It comes naturally. So when he gets an opportunity like he did last game, he's going to take it, and we'll live with it, especially if it results in a first down. So we'll love it.
But what if he's passing him up, I guess, because you could make the case that in the first two games he may have passed a couple up.
Yeah, you wish he ran on certain ones, and then you wish he didn't run because there was somebody wide open. So you just got to live with what how the play lives out.
Anything common with when you saw on film on the 9 3-and-outs you had?
Yeah, so we have to just buckle down on the details of everything. So just doing your job, executing the call. There's a lot of things that we could have cleaned up across the board. So it was a lot of self-inflicting issues that we're hoping to clean up. Last week we overemphasized the urgency getting out of the huddle, and it was a good result in the game. Just this week, overemphasizing the details and your responsibility on the play.
Justin, there's a trend in the NFL where there's less big plays, at least this season, and less points. Defenses are being more conservative, taking away the big play. How do you maybe combat that as an offensive coordinator? Have you seen that through the games?
You got to be patient throughout the game. You're going to try to take your shots, and a lot of defenses are staying nice and deep, and they're going to live and die off that short, throw, and then they're going to try to force you to run the ball. And fronts are getting better. They're getting bigger and faster, and schemes are getting, they're expanding. Pressure packages, looks, fronts. So people are loading up on the big boys up front, putting more on the field, and taking linebackers off the field. So you're starting to see a unique shift defensively, and you got to adjust offensively. If you don't, then you're running the same plays. You're going to be banging your head against the wall. So it's showing up across the board for sure. And you see these teams that you're playing, and they're doing a really good job of either setting an edge or coming downhill or blitzing. So you got to have answers for everything now.
Just two more questions.
Coach, how much of, I guess, the struggles were credit to the Niners' defense and their personnel?
I'll tell you what, they play hard, they play physical. We knew that going into it. It's just you gotta take what they give you, and you got to live with the 3 yards, 4 yard runs. You got to do a great job of chipping those guys as much as you can, and losing an opportunity for get somebody out. You just gotta stay strong versus those guys. And every year we played them, it's just been a bloodbath. And to credit to those guys.
Do rivalries exist in the NFL with coaches and players? Fans, obviously, yes, but with you guys.
I think every week's a rivalry. I mean, you got to have your mind right. You got to go into it with a championship mindset, and everybody's trying to take each other out. So it's got to be physical. It's got to be your best preparation week thus far. So it's week to week, in my opinion.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks,
All right, thanks, guys.